This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor John Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital.
And I'm Heather Branch here with John to talk about ways to help you prepare for your financial future, focusing on your retirement goals. RetirementSolutionRadio.com is where you can go to begin the conversation with John and his team at J. Hagan Capital. We also have links posted in the show notes. Again, that's RetirementSolutionRadio.com. Tax is technically a 3-letter word, and then ES is a 5-letter word. So I'm technically not dropping a 4-letter word on you right now.
But it's the ugliest word of this season, at least if you file extensions.
But what's funny is that normally when it comes to tax talk, a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's the end of the year, time for the holidays, put everything else aside. But really, there's 3 months left of the year to carpe diem some opportunities when it comes to our tax planning.
Oh, my gosh.
Is that not correct? First and foremost.
Yes. Yes, okay. Agreed.
Okay. So let's flesh that out in just a minute. But let's first bring up this conversation we want to talk about with Miss Christine Benz, talking about the RMD conversation and how that plays into factor.
It's a big one.
Again, we're in Q4 of the year. That means RMD season. Christine Benz with Morningstar's financial website reminds us that there are several changes regarding required minimum distributions this year, beginning with the age moving up to 73. Here is what she wants us all to remember.
The other thing to know is that the penalty for missing an IRA RMD is decreasing to 25%. It had been 50% of the amount that you should have taken but didn't. So that's going down a little bit. And I always say, people love to hate their RMDs. Use your RMDs to improve your portfolio. So take a look back, look at your portfolio's asset allocation, compare it to whatever your target is, prune your RMDs from the securities that you wanted to trim otherwise. Use them as a way to make your portfolio a little bit better.
So she's saying that there are some opportunities there for us, John.
She's saying turn some lemons into lemonade.
Let's do it then. Show us the way, good sir.
So it's interesting. So, a lot of folks, and I have to, I talk to all kinds of folks, and people hear the show. They hear it not just in Louisville area. They hear it all over the United States. Yep. Whether you're on iHeartRadio or whatever, they hear this stuff everywhere. And the craziest thing to me, I had a gentleman that called me the other day, and he said, hey, John, listen, I got to tell you the truth. I hate taking money out that I don't need.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you're talking about. And he said, no. So I am 73 and I have been taking RMDs for a couple years. There's a couple years I didn't have to because of COVID, Yeah. He goes, but I have to pull out $108,000 this year and I don't have anything to spend it on. Jeez. Not that I couldn't do something or give it to the kids or whatever. He goes, and I started thinking to myself, what kind of world are we in where someone has amassed millions of dollars and they are aggravated about having to use $108,000. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have done a great job saving, this gentleman had saved about $1.8 million. And his whole point is he goes, but I don't want to have to pull it out. Well, too bad. So sad the government does not care what we think about that. We have to pull it out. RMD, required minimum distribution. Now, if we have saved, and we want to live in retirement with dignity and with purpose, the way we want to live, a lot of people were like, well, hey, my RMD's good. I get to pull that money out. That supplements my income. I'm in good shape. But for those out there, those middle-class multimillionaires, many of you are out there. We talk to you guys all the time. And what you're telling me is, John, there has to be a better way. Right. I am so sick and tired of handing over because, by the way, this gentleman, when he pulled out $108,000 or when he pulls out this $108,000 here shortly, he's going to owe about $34,000 in taxation on those dollars. That's money he's never going to get back.
Yep.
And we had this conversation. I was like, but listen, you deferred this tax. You knew this was coming. There was a lien on that money.
Right.
The government let you put it in there, give you a big old whopping tax break because you didn't have to pay taxes on that money.
Yep.
But later on, it was going to come to the door. Hello, need some tax money. And now he's going to deal with that. So now, and here's the craziest thing, he was in he's a similar tax bracket, about the 25% tax bracket when he put this money in.
Yeah.
Now, Heather, he's going to be in the same roughly 25% tax bracket when he pulls it out, but he's going to owe about $34,000 in taxes. Now, here's what we discussed.
Okay.
And this is a big thing.
Okay.
Can we use and exploit correctly the current tax code and eliminate some of those future taxes, right? Okay. This is what we talk about on the show. We've been talking about this for nearly a decade now. How can we save money? And I have the actual numbers from this gentleman because I just ran them last week. Yeah. So this gentleman had saved about $1.8 million. We expect over time he's going to earn about 8% on his stock positions and around 5% on his fixed income type positions. Okay. So his overall rate of return close to 7%. Not bad. Pretty normal. Pretty standard. And he's going to be in roughly the 24, 25, 26% tax rate, depending on which year he pulls the money out. Now, Heather, if he leaves it like it is, let me tell you what's going to happen. Okay. If he leaves it like it is and pulls out those RMDs over the course of his life, if he lives to 90 years old, he's 68 now, he will pay $610,000 in taxes on those required minimum distributions. Jeez. Okay. No. Now, he doesn't need the money. So he was just going to take that money and put it in another account and let it grow, just like Christine Benz was just talking about. She says, prune those things that you don't really want as much of and put those in another account and diversify. Right. Well, if he did that, he would have $261,000 in taxes paid annually on 1099 format, depending on what he invested in, if he was a 60-40 investor, like many of us are. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. So he was going to pay $600,000 in taxes on RMDs. Because he had to put it in a taxable account, he's going to pay another potentially $261,000 in taxes because he no longer has that tax shelter of that tax-deferred account anymore. Got it. And here's the big one. When he kicks off, when he is done at age 90 in this example, his heirs are potentially going to pay another $623,000 in taxes to inherit that traditional IRA.
Now, are we close now to about $1.4 million in taxes?
1.495, so almost $1.5 million.
Investments. Okay.
Now, let's remember, how much money did I say that this gentleman had in his accounts today? $1.8 million. And if he lasts from 68 to 90, there's a great chance he will. His grandmother lived to be 94. His mom lived to be 91. So there's a great chance he will. He and his heirs will pay $1.49 million in taxes on that $1.8 million.
That's if he leaves it just as it is right now.
If he just does exactly what he's been doing, what his current guy told him to do all these years. And I ask you, does that seem ridiculous to you as it does to me? It does. So we explored another option. So Heather, what we talked about is, what if we just take the next 5 years and diffuse this tax time bomb? What if we just want to pull the wick out slowly over the next 5 years and pay the taxes as they're due based on what we can get accomplished? Well, Heather, he would pay about $366,000 asset shifting those dollars from a tax-deferred IRA to a tax-free Roth. $366,000 and then, that's it.
Wait,
that's it. $366,000 over the next 5 years. If we wanted to diffuse this tax-deferred time bomb, he would pay $366,000, and at that point in time, it is over. It is done. There are no more taxes due on this money, and if you do simple math, like I choose to do on the weekend morning, simple math, he's going to save, between him and his family, about $1.2 million in future taxation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to have advanced mathematics degrees in linear mathematics and algebra. You just seem to need to understand, if you don't like paying taxes, then you need to seek the ways to pay the least or to maximize the income the way you want to use it. Because here's what I would have told this gentleman. If he could use that $108,000, if he wanted to have a lake house, or if he wanted to have a house up in the mountains in Tennessee, which, by the way, is a zero tax state, or if he wanted to have another home in Florida, we would have different discussions. But this gentleman didn't have anything to spend the money on, and what I want people to do is be a great steward of your money. If you want to spend it wisely, spend it well, and spend it often. But if you don't want to spend that money, if you want to save and give it to the next generation, keep the government out of it. If you want to keep the government out of your savings, you probably need a different plan than the one you have today. Let our team help you because the tax laws are changing. We need to take control of our financial future, and you cannot do better unless you know better.
John and his team working to help you do and know better every single day. And you can begin your own conversation right now by visiting us at retirementsolutionradio.com. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there, or again, find us anytime retirementsolutionradio.com.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with John and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to John's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. It does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Jonathan Hicks, Insurance License Number 548962.